Okay, guys, let's start the workshop. I propose to start with the last slide we used it in the CICD Pipeline workshop. So the steps are illustrated here. So the first one is to create the repo in GitHub. So let's check. I'm going to use a new repository that is in GitHub is for the repositories, because currently we don't have enough material in the SLA manager to do all the pipeline. So let's use tng repo, okay, for this presentation. So currently in the repo we don't have anything. So the first step is to request the repo in GitHub. This is easy. You send an email to Work Packet 6 list, and then me or Jose can go to the Sonata NV organization that we have the credentials to create repositories, and we create empty. Okay, so once we have the Sonata NV repository, so then you have to click here on fork. So and also we assign we create a group, okay, for this repository. The group is in collaboration teams. We use the admin, okay, and we set the members. Basically, is the lead developers. So in this group, we will have the people that have rights to merge the code to the repo. So in this case, we will have the lead developers with the admin right over this repository. So currently, we are for this repo, Jose and me. Okay. So the first thing that needs the developer to do is to fork. Okay, click here in this button, fork, and so I have already forked it to my repo, my own repo, and it is okay. So once I have clicked on the fork, I will have the repo here already forked. Okay, so the next step to configure this repository is to clone it. So basically is click here in clone or download, copy the link, then if you go to your folder where you will have your repo clone, so it's basically clone and put the link. Okay, once you have clicked on this, you will have the repository here in the folder. Okay, so I have added some code here for TNG repositories. So to start, it will be look at that. Yeah, this is the second step. Create some dummy code. I took this content from the song catalog repository because currently we are going to split in two repos. So one will be one is a tng-rep, another one is the tng catalog cat. Okay, for the catalog. So the part of the code of repository, I've been working on it. So I will put in this repository. So once I have the code already more or less mocked, so I will need to create to containerize this. So I need to create a container for my code. So you need to choose the image base for your container, and then the way to put the code inside your container. Okay. I have created. I took the Docker file from folder, some catalog repository, and more or less the Docker file looks like this. So please, if you have any question, interrupt me. We can discuss and check.
Felipe.
Yes.
Hello, Eleni is here.
Hello, Eleni.
Just a small comment. At the presentation we had about the integration issues, the continuous integration process, the basic repository tree that you propose, you put all the code in the folder name code, and then outside from this, it is just the license, the README, the pipeline folder, the Docker and Jenkins file. But now, here at the example that you did, it's a very silly comment and question, but just to have it all clear from the start, I see that the code is inside
the word code is related to the name of your folder that you need for your code. For instance, in my case, the code is roads, spec, util, so it's a folder that you need for your code. Not include all the code in the folder code. It's a reference line.
Okay. So great. Thanks for it. Thanks for the clarification.
Yes. Any other question at this point? Okay, let's continue. So the Docker file basically is created using the best practice to create the Docker file. So they were evolving in the time. So maybe this is not exactly following the best practice, because, for instance, we have multiple apt-get here. So if we go to Dockerfile, best practice. We need to follow the guidelines and recommendations. Yes, each container should have only one concern. Basically the best practice is that to spawn only one service per container. In this case, the meaning of this is to not have the database inside the container plus your Ruby on Nginx or Python. So to create a very good container, you should decouple by process. Okay? One process for databases, another one for your Python or your script. Okay. This is a good practice. Other good practice is sort line arguments. For instance, that's where I was talking about. This apt-get is just to split the package one per line. So if you see here, we don't have it like this. So we need to follow this kind of best practice. So other thing that we need to consider is the build cache. The cache will be created in the Jenkins when you run the build, and it depends on the order that you follow to create your Docker file. For instance, if I copy here in this step, if I copy here all the code and all the gem file, when I compile the gem file with bundle install, every time that I paste a new code, this layer will disappear, and then every time we'll run the bundle install. But if I just copy the gem file and run the bundle install, only will run the bundle install when I change the gem file. So this step will go quickly, and then only copy the new files to the application. This will save time. So you should take into account the order of copy your files to your container, okay, in order to save time. So this is a good practice. Also the instructions. Currently, there are labels that we will not use in Sonata, just to define the vendors and so on. So maybe we could create a template for our Docker files in order to follow this. Yes.
Felipe, just a suggestion. Please make mute because there's a lot of background noise. Okay, thanks.
Jose, I think everybody's muted. So, I only hear myself. I can't hear anybody. So
probably is in your side.
It's in my side. Yeah.
Okay, nothing to do. No
Check.
problem. This is not a big problem.
Okay. Fine. Okay, so we have our Docker file already defined. We are going to use the Ruby base image, take into account that we should try to use the small image. If we go to Docker Hub, dockerhub.com, search, for instance, Ruby. Okay, we could select in the tags. We could select a lot of different base image, but we could take into account the size of the image.
Felipe, just one question: this Docker file comes with the repository, this default one, or is there any place where we can get a default Docker file?
The default Docker file, well, the Docker file depends on your application.
Yes, yes.
So if you will use Python, maybe you don't need to run bundle install because you're not using gems. But also if you use Java, maybe you need to create a multi-stage build where in the first part you create the jar or the artifact of the Java, and then in the second part of the multi-stage build, you only put the file there with a Java the Java artifact. So it's very let's say independent of your application. Okay.
So we need to find somewhere a good example to start.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, is try to follow the best practice how to write a Docker file. Use the image that your code is based on, and then put your code inside. This is three steps to create a.
Okay.
So to choose the image, the base image is you can use in the official repository the technology that you are programming, and try to select the slim image. Let's wait, because for instance this image is based on Debian Jessie, but it's too heavy. Okay, and also this is a the compressed size. So when you deploy this, it will be 600 megabytes. So we should avoid that. Okay. We should try to select a slim image. So here the most less size image is Alpine, but in some cases it's very complicated to add all the dependencies that use in the operating system. So if you can go for Alpine, it will be great, but if not, try to use an slim. Okay. So in this case, for Ruby, we use a slim image. Okay. So at the step that I was referring before, is to first call your image base image, then install the required package for your container. In this case, is basically OpenCell, curl. So then you need to delete after installation. You need to delete that kind of well, the cache of apt to not have this so big. Then you create the application. This is the root folder for your application. Compile wherever that you need, and then copy your code to the application folder. Okay, basically this is a 3-step. And at the end, you need to put how start your application in your container. In this case, is rec start. Okay. And any question till this point?
Philip, I saw you have the working DR twice. Do we need change second time?
Can you repeat it?
The work DR you specify twice.
This one,
Yeah.
the work there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I specify the work there because I'm not using the default one. Okay, so I am pasting the application here, and I know that when I start my application with this command, it will be placed in this point.
Yeah, I saw you define twice. Is that necessary?
Define? Sorry.
Define twice. So you have to define the working DR twice in this Docker file.
Ah, yeah. Yeah,
That's
probably one is not needed. Only one time. Yeah.
Yeah. You test to make sure it's working. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's defined here. Okay, so we have our Docker file. Any other question? Okay. So how can I test my Docker file if I have any issue with the compilation here in this point or whatever? So I will build in my PC with the command docker build. You see, I can use any name, but I will use the name that we'll have in the pipeline, that is registry.sonata-nvu 5000 tng-rep. Okay, and the location is the dots, local point. So as you can see here, I did before. I use cache because this part is consume a lot of time, the bundle install, because it's download all the gems and then recreate everything. So when I copy the application, also is this is not cached. So I have a new application here. It's copied. Recyard will generate the documentation based on the application that I pasted. I copy a new one to the container, so it takes a bit. I will run again this command after this build, and you will see how the cache acts. Okay.
Felipe.
Yes.
One question here from Eleni. I have created my Docker file and I can build it and run it locally.
Yes.
But I see here that you build it and you mentioned the registry of Sonata. You put something there, I lost it now. So in order to do exactly the same step and be sure that it is built there, I have to be connected with a VPN or something.
No. This is the name that you are putting in this step for your container. So this is basically a name. You can put here whatever you want. Okay.
Yes,
But in the pipeline, you will need to put this exactly this name. Okay, because it will be the name of your container for the CICD pipeline. In your local, you can build with the name that you want, but for the Jenkins, you will need to build with this name.
So I understand that, okay, in this case, your name is tng-rep, my name is tng policy manager, let's say. I built it without the registry Sonata nfv.eu 5000, but this name, the registry Sonata nfv.eu, I guess I have to declare it in some YAML file or something, or while defining my container. So where should I declare?
Yeah, you will declare in the Jenkins file because it will be used in Jenkins to build your container.
Okay, so I understand that we will see it on a later step where to declare.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so currently I will trigger again the build. Yes, as you can see, the cache run very fast. So let's create it again, but it's taking no time. Okay, so I have my container already created. If I see here Docker image, I can see. I have a lot of image. I can grab. Yeah, it's there, and it was created 2 minutes ago. So look, the size is big. It's very big. Also, so we will need to find a way to use Alpine to create this slim. Okay. Yes. Well, what's the next step? Once I have my container created, so if I have defined some check styles for my code, or if I have some unit tests, I have two ways, okay, to run it. One way is execute directly in my local repo. Okay, so if I want to execute the unit test for this repository, I should do a rake and CI outside of the container, not using the container. So if I run this, I got an error here. If you remember, I was using in the Docker file the version 2.2.3. Okay. So my Ruby version, this other one is 2.3.1. So I tried this morning to run the bundle install. In my PC, it's not running in the container, it's running in my PC. I got an error, but I couldn't find a way to fix this. So in this case, yeah, as you can see here, it's very dependent on your VM. So, okay, or on your PC, local development PC. So what we want is that your code can run in every environment that is deployed. So if you can configure everything to run your gem in a native way in your PC, would be great. Okay, so for some language are very easy. For instance, Python. Another one to change the version, create a virtual environment. Maybe with Python, it's easy to use. And other, for instance, RVM, okay, to set a specific Ruby version, but I couldn't find a way to do it. So the second approach is to run the the unit test inside the container. Okay. How can I do that? Well, first, I know that my container needs, this particular container needs a database to run the test. That is a database MongoDB, because it was a very time expensive to mock all the Mongo calls. So the approach was start a Mongo container. Okay, that I have already deployed here, and then to test my container, I only need to link with my Mongo. Okay. So until this point, any question, or do you have any question? Okay. So as you can see here, to run the test, I am doing the following. I'm calling to Docker run with the option RM to be removed after the test. I'm going to put here true. I'm passing an environment variable that indicating to the container that is an environment that tests to run the unit test. So also I want that all the tests after the container is destroyed will be located in my PC to see how was the test. So I have a mount volume here to mount it. It will be located in my current location /spec/reports, and inside the container will be mounted in app spec report. That is the place where the container will generate that report. Okay. Also, I have the link to MongoDB and the container that I have created. So I will start the container with rake CI all, that is overwriting the default CMD, that is rake start. So I am overwriting this with this code to run the unit test. So if I start this, you can see that. Let me put here. Let me show you. I'm inside the reports. So on the look, I run after. I have some information here, but it was generated 1 hour ago. So let's wait a bit for this running of this data. It will delete all the old reports, generate the new ones. This is programmed like this. So any question until now?
Felipe, Eleni is here again. Just say that if it is possible to put this example command in the wiki or something, because I was using the commands from the presentation we had the other day. They are slightly different. I can see some extra specification here that I don't understand. So maybe to put this example command there in order to interplay with it.
Okay, which command?
The one that executes an indicative unit test. In this case, I understand you connect your container with a Mongo container in order to be sure that the first container is able to connect to the Mongo, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Just an example, and maybe it is helpful as a command, I mean.
Okay.
And one more thing, I understand that the spec reports, app spec reports, it is a path that is already defined in the Jenkins. Am I right?
Which one?
The one that this one, yes.
The first one is my local folder. Okay.
Yes.
Plus adding spec reports. So after the whole it will work in Jenkins because after this well when it's execute this it will have the location of the workspace that you are using in this moment for your build. So it will be Barley, Jenkins, works, jobs, the name of your jobs, workspace. Okay. So this part will be here, and then the folder inside will be spec reports. So at the end of the pipeline, you will need this location to grab all the reports to have it in only one place. Okay.
Okay, now if you are going to see the results both locally in the spec reports folder and both there, yes, exactly, and both at the Jenkins file system. Am I right?
Is when you execute or when you run this command in the Jenkins, it will have Jenkins will have it in the workspace of your job to publish it.
Okay, okay. I guess we will also see it later. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. Any other question? The As you can see here, it remove RM.
Go here,
Yes.
yeah. The report folder, when you next time, when the Jenkins start build again, the image, would they copy to your image in first place? Do we need to clear the report folder?
To clear, you mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
it will delete in this call. I am spec report. Okay. So my
or
is
as part of the steps of the Jenkins file.
you can do both. Okay, you can configure in your own scripts. Okay, in your rake or whatever you have
Okay. Yeah.
to delete the reports and after sorry before generation to keep safe to know it will always clean. Okay, or you could set in Jenkins clear workspace before build. So you can do both.
Okay. Yeah.
I would recommend to delete the folder of the report before generated because in some case could be you could have certain problem with Jenkins that cannot remove the folder because the files were generated as root and things like that. You know? So
Yeah.
I would recommend uh, delete before build. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
So we have all the reports here for so here inside the report we have some the unit test to delete network service instance to get network service instance. Also we have some um, unit tests for VNFs instance. Okay, nice. So what's next? We have the unit test. We could have also the yeah. I will base on the last the song catalog repo that we have there. the the check style to show you how to generate it. 1 second. It is some catalog repos. Okay, here. So this is the old way to generate the pipeline, right? So we are moving now to Jenkins file that generate this configuration automatically from your repository. So okay, check style is more or less like this. Let me so okay, let me paste this here. I'm going to change the name of the image. That is tng-rep. Okay. So I'm going to use the command bundle excel Rubocop. That Rubocop is a check style software to check the styles code of our code. So I'm putting here that is required this specific formatter, and the output will be in reports check style results. Okay, in HTML, also reports index HTML. Fine. Also I'm mounting the report folder. Okay, as we did in the other for the other for the unit test. Okay. So let's try this command. Okay, it's done. Yeah. Questions?
Sorry, Felipe, what is this? The purpose of this last comment is just to format the code?
Yeah, it's the best practice. It's a report for the best practice of styling code. So your code needs to follow certain rules. I don't know if you know PEP 8 for Python. Okay, so in this case we are trying to apply more or less the check style to build a very good styled code.
Okay.
It's not change. This application doesn't change your code. It's only to inform you that you have something that is not following the style. Let me show you 1 second the result. It is XML. It is read by Jenkins to generate the report, but also you have the HTML to read. Okay, 1 second. Yeah.
Felipe,
Yes.
I am a little bit confused because we were creating an example of a SON repo container. We also defined a unit test about it. And then it seems we jump to an already defined and deployed container at the Jenkins that is a SON catalog repos. So, what are the intermediate steps? I mean, if I want to continue with the first example, I don't know if it is clear my question or not.
No, I don't get it. Sorry.
Okay.
Can you repeat again?
Yes, I will rephrase, and probably it's very silly, but I didn't just understand it. Okay, we start this demo session by defining an example of a Ruby program.
Yes.
We create the container of this program,
Yeah.
and then we checked and we defined a unit test.
Yes.
We checked either if it can connect smoothly with a Mongo container.
Yes.
But now what we are running is not this sample container, but is another one that its name is
No,
on catalog repos.
it's the same. It's the same. Look, I copy it from the old for the old catalog repo, because I mentioned at the beginning that we are splitting the repository in one for catalog and another one for repos. So I am creating now tng-rep, that is the repositories.
Okay, so this is
I took the code. Yeah, I took the code from some catalog repos to make the split.
Okay, so before doing this step, you will correct me if I am confused. We have to push the code somewhere, then we have to make a pull request in order to get it from the Tango upstream repository, let's say, and then we have to execute this command that you execute right now, or not?
Not really, because I have generated the repository, the container with this name, so I can execute in my local PC with this name. So at this moment, I have not pushed the repo to a repository. I will do it later.
Okay.
Currently, I am developing everything around the pipeline. Okay, so then I will create the pipeline. I will put all this command in one file to be executed by Jenkins. Okay.
Okay.
And it will be synchronized with the webhook and so on.
Okay, so I understand that all of what you are doing is done on your PC locally.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Everything is from my PC.
Okay, thank you.
Carlos, this is a report that I get from Robocop. I have 250 offense, and you can see in specifically where is the file that I need to change. Okay, so if you use your IDE, you will see the same. Okay, the same errors in your IDE. But if you don't fix it, it will appear after with Robocop. Okay. So when you develop your code, if you have IDE, you will see it. If you don't take care of it, it will appear here. So for instance, what's the top one is this one. Okay, so for instance, convention class has too many lines, so you should decrease. The maximum is 100, so we have 149. Other one is trillion space detected line 45, so you need to take care of it, or leave it as it. Okay, this is the check style. Now, what's the next step? We have perfect. We are ready to create our complete pipeline. So I've mentioned that the first iteration will not have unit tests, not check style, no smoke test. Okay. I already have it in my repo, but the repository, the pipeline will not create with this, and then I will include later. Okay. So this is my current tree of the repo. So to be synchronized to Jenkins, if I let me do my first commit. Git first commit. I'm going to push to my repo. One second. I have to include everything. Okay. Now into the commit. Right. So I'm going to push to the master branch of my repo. So if I refresh this web page, this is my repo, tng-rep. I have the code here. Okay, the code I have already developed. So I'm going to create a pull request to the Tango repo, to the Sonata repository. I can see all the files that I have added. Okay. Pull request. I'm going to put first commit. So GitHub is indicating to me that I could set up a continuous integration automatically to test my code. Okay, let's create the multi-branch job for the pipeline. If we go to Sonata Jenkins, we'll have here a set of jobs. Okay, currently we have a lot of jobs. Some for development, other for integration, other for pilots, pipeline. Okay, so for our repository, we need to create a pipeline. Yeah, let me put tng-rep. Okay, we need to create a multi-branch pipeline. This is the option. Okay, this option will be good for the future, because currently, as you know, we are working on the master branch. Yeah? We don't have any other branch, but when we publish, when we'll make our first release, we will create a branch 4.0. Okay, and for the branch 4.0, Jenkins, we will take the Jenkins file automatically and generate and do the whole process of the pipeline. So we don't need to create a new Jenkins job per each branch. It will be generated automatically. So in the future, if we will create a batch for our version 4.0, for instance, if we have detected an error in the branch 4.0, we only need to push the change to the branch 4.0, and Jenkins will generate automatically the container for that version. Okay. So any question at this point? Until this point? No? Okay, let's create a multi-branch pipeline. So I'm going to create here a multi-branch pipeline with a tng-rep.
No sabemos nada. No sabemos nada. Y llegado el caso de que nos metieran,
so what do we need to configure here? Do we need to have the source from GitHub using the Sonata Jenkins, that is the user on GitHub. So once we put this, the owner will be Sonata,
yo creo que van a elegir
the user.
Porque ya te digo que no funcionaba hasta hace 10 días. Y si yo tengo que elegir, solo voy a mostrar una, la tuya no funciona, la tuya sí, bueno, vale, la tuya no funciona, me hubiera gustado que funcionara, pero ya tengo una que funciona, voy con la que funciona, la he esperado, la semana que viene, ha habido instalaciones y rollo para funcionar. Por eso creo que van a elegir a Sion, pero no han elegido aún y hay que estar preparado.
Sonata NP is the owner. So now it will appear all the repository that we have in GitHub. In this case, we will choose the tng-rep, right? The strategy is the way how Jenkins will discover the branch. We will need to add here one option that is
ya se pone mala y se coge la base. Yo creo que está cubierto, es una review, es algo importante.
It is clean before checkout. Okay, that is the option that Google. That is the option to clean the workspace before we do the checkout of the code. We need to include here. Okay. Yeah, this property trigger bill on pull request comment, and also this, please. This is to trigger and the Jenkins when you put this comment in your pull request in order to close and reopen. And also let's update. In case your pull make a new commit in your repo and you have a pull request open it, so it will trigger this job. And what else? Scan repository triggers, yes. Periodic each 5 minutes. Okay, this will be scanning for new branches. I think nothing yet. Okay, perfect. So there is another way to create this. This is fine. To not reconfigure everything. Yeah, look, Jenkins is finding this file, but we don't have it yet in our repository. So this is the step that we are going to do now. The pull request is not present yet. Okay. So Jenkins file is not found in the one branch that were processed that is the master branch. So we are going to create that Jenkins file. The other way that I was mentioned to create this job is basically to create from another that was already created. For instance, I will put here tng-cat. I will delete later, but we are going to copy from tng-rep. So if we copy the multi-branch pipeline, basically we need to change only the repository that we are cloning. Name is okay, but we will need to change the repository to tng-cat. Okay. By this way, all the configuration that we did in the other repository, the configuration of the other repository will be cloned to our new repository, avoiding to miss any option. Okay, this is a good strategy to create it, or yeah, you can create from scratch and compare. Okay.
Y los work parties libres, technical manager están a las 10 de la mañana.
Yeah.
Are those projects being triggered by the push, or they are triggered by the 5-minute schedule?
It's triggered by both. Okay. The 5 minutes schedule is to detect new branches in the repo.
Okay.
So if you create a new branch, call it 4.0 version 4.0, it will detect 5 minutes after.
Yeah. So that means for the new pull request, they need wait for up to 5 minutes, or they trigger immediately?
Immediately.
Okay.
Maybe it takes 10 seconds, 20 seconds, but
Very good. Yeah. Thank you.
it will trigger by a webhook. Okay. So currently we have the scans. Okay. This is the scanning of your repo, for instance, taking the UVM builds, and this is scanning now, finding new branches and so on. Okay. Next, I need to create my my Jenkins file. Okay. How can I create my Jenkins file? This is this Jenkins file. We are going to use the declarative pipeline. This is the way we will use to create our Jenkins file. But create the Jenkins file from scratch is very complicated because you need to know all the options and so on. But Jenkins have a very good plugin to create this Jenkins file. So the strategy is the following. I have created a Jenkins job, a special Jenkins job to that is a pipeline builder that have a template for our Jenkins file, and also it's visual, so you can select there with clicks. You can build your own Jenkins file. So you need to click on Pipeline Builder and then go here to OpenBlueOcean. Okay. OpenBlueOcean is a Jenkins plugin to create the pipeline. Let's wait a bit. This is opening.
Eso sí que lo del entorno me interesa más porque además me parece diferenciante.
Takes some seconds.
Entonces, eso sí que me interesa cuanto antes te conectes de nuevo y veas cómo está el entorno y si está operativo y si no hay que hacerlo operativo.
Yeah, and any question, Tilman?
Felipe,
Yes.
I have two questions. First of all, where did you get the pipeline builder? Because I cannot find it. I am also in the Jenkins. It was in the development tab or in the pipeline tab?
In Jenkins, you mean?
Yes.
Look, let me open this in a new window.
Verme el vídeo y hacerlo yo, porque hay que enlazar una serie de scripts, hay que manejar la aplicación, es lo que hacemos Bea y yo en la demo, en el vídeo, y me gustaría hacerlo todo eso yo de cero, eso sabérmelo de memoria.
So my application is my application is here. This is a tng-rep, right? It's telling me that the folder is empty because I don't have the Jenkins file yet in my commit here. So when I commit the Jenkins file, it will detect automatically and create the pipeline in the here, okay, in tng-rep.
Okay.
So the job will be generated automatically with the Jenkins file. I don't know if this answers your question.
Yes, I understand that we have first to create the Jenkins file because otherwise it's not detected. But you found in the Jenkins Sonata NV.eu, you found an example of Jenkins builder. Where did you get this? In the menu, in the portal, let's say, of the Jenkins.
In the main section, Jenkins. It says pipeline builder here.
Okay, I found it. Okay. And this is an example of what exactly is this?
Yes, this is a special job that I have created only to build or to create your own Jenkins file. It's an empty repository located in the Jenkins VM. Located in the Jenkins VM to generate your own Jenkins file. So we will not use or execute this pipeline builder. You know, it's only to use the web interface. Is very good web interface to create your own Jenkins file. Okay.
Okay.
So when you go to the pipeline builder and you click on the master branch, you will see the example that I have already here. So if you click on edit, this is the pipeline that is already created, but it's empty. So for your application, you will need to generate here. Also, if you want to change your Jenkins file, you could do it from here as well, because this have a functionality that if you click on Control S, it will be generated for you. Okay, this is the use of this Jenkins pipeline builder. So how can we fill all the fields here? Continue build. This only print a message. So we will have here a job that is building tng-rep. This is the step to generate the Tango repositories container with the step that is a shell script. So in the presentation that I did the other day, I put that we needed to create. Let me find that. We need to put all the builds all the builds in this folder, right? In pipeline build sh. But you could have you could use two approaches. One is to generate all of these routes, okay, pipeline build, and put here the script that you will use for build your container, or you can put directly in the Jenkins file. So I'm going to follow the approach, the different approach that I use in the presentation that is generated here in the Jenkins file. Okay. So to create our container will be Docker build registry. This is our local registry and tng-rep. Okay. This container will be generated with the tag latest by default. This is the building step, right? Okay, we have this step here. So we are creating and generating building the container. So let's skip these two kind of the unit test, because as we say in the presentation, let's do first iteration with no unit test, no check style, no smoke test. Okay, so we can skip this. So check style. Okay, container publication. How can I publish my container? So publishing tng-rep. I will add a step that is a shell script. We'll do a Docker push name registry view tng-rep. So by this way, I'm going to push to the Docker local registry my container with the tag latest. So deployment and integration. How can I deploy our container in integration? Let me delete. One second. Unit test of the pipeline. Container build and container publication. So at this point, we have the build and the publication, right? So let's push. Let's put the Jenkins file in our repo and see if the container is generated and so on. Then we will include more steps. So I will delete the deployment integration as well. We don't have results because we are not doing. We are not generating the reports. Okay, so how can I extract this Jenkins file from here? Just pushing Ctrl+S, pipeline here, select all, copy, and then I go to the Jenkins file and paste it. So the pipeline is generated, and you can see the steps here. Very easy. We'll run it. I will detail a bit how it's going here. We have two stages, a set of stages. We have with two stages. One is container build, another one is container publication. So for the build, we will run in parallel a step that is echo, that is to inform that the container is building, and then the stage that really build the container. Also, we have the container publication with the step echo publication of container in the local registry. So it's to inform you that the container in the step of publication, and then just pushing the container to the local registry. So I'm going to add Jenkins file. I'm going to push this Jenkins file to the repository. Okay. Git commit Jenkins file to okay. Git push master. Okay, so just here, I received this one. I received this, and then I don't know if this will be automatically.
Felipe.
Yes.
One question again from I am in the Jenkins at the job/pipeline builder,
Yeah.
but now I cannot see how to open the pipeline builder editor. Can you show it again, please?
Are you here in this point?
I am at the Jenkins Sonata nv.u/job/pipeline builder.
Okay.
And I want to open. I understand that the Jenkins file we can do it manually, but since there is an editor,
yeah,
it is.
You are here, right?
I am here exactly. How do I open the editor?
Yeah, you need to go to Blue Ocean. This icon here.
Open Blue Ocean. Okay. And now what I do?
You need to click on the branch that is master.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's wait a bit. to this open.
I know that for you it's very straight and forward, but
Yeah.
sometimes we are lost in translation here.
Okay, let's wait. Have you clicked on open Blue Ocean?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and I can
It's,
see the next screen.
okay, you have this one, master, right?
Yes.
If you click here, master, you are you here, right? You are here.
Yes, exactly.
So this, you have the button edit. There's a pen or pencil.
Okay.
If you click there, you have the editor window.
Okay. So now I do all the...
If you click on the keyboard, Control S.
Control S, like saving it. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So now after I understand that we do not save the pipelines inside the Jenkins. We just use the editor in order to get the script by pressing Control S, and then we put it in our project in order to commit it.
Exactly. And if you open a new if you have your own your own pipeline and you want to edit, the only need that you need is delete this and paste yours and click on
Yes.
update, and
In
they
order
will appear again.
to validate it also somehow, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, this is only a tool because it's hard to build from scratch a Jenkins file. So you can.
Yes, it depends on the steps. If the steps are few, it is not that hard. But if you have a lot of steps, it's a nice way to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Felipe.
Welcome. Okay, let me check one thing. It was not automatically. Okay, pipeline. Okay, I'm going to the job. This tng-rep. So let's try to scan repository now. Checking pull requests. Jenkins file found. Why is not found? Jenkins file found. Jenkins file. tng-rep. Okay, I'm going to merge this because I don't know why Jenkins was not triggered by this one, but I am convinced that when I merge this, it will detect automatically. Okay, tng-rep. Scan repository. No. Scan repository now. tng-rep. Jenkins. Bad name, maybe. Jenkins. missing a typo. Move Jenkins file to. Okay, git commit. Yeah, one second to get status. Okay.
Felipe, I think you missed again. Ah, okay.
Yeah, is there. Git push on the master. Yeah, okay. Let's create a new pull request then. Let's create a new pull request. Pull request is here. Go back. Oh, where am I? Okay. I need a commit. Commit. Okay, push. Okay, now we'll be here. Sonata. Okay, tng-rep. Nice, pull request. Let's create the pull request. Perfect. Okay, now that we have the Jenkins file, let's trigger the scan. tng-rep. Okay, it was detected automatically, and I think it's running. Check why it failed. Okay, this is the logs. Yeah, I have an error here. So Jenkins telling me that it's missing one argument. Okay, in the Docker build, that is a dot at the end to send the context to the build. Let me make a change here. Jenkins file. So we need a dot here at the end. Okay. So let's commit with the same name. Push. Okay. So now it will be triggered automatically with the webhook. Let's wait a second. Okay, it was triggered. We have the second try here automatically. Yeah. Okay, it's creating the container now. Yeah, this part takes a long time because it's now loading all the gems and configuring inside the container. So any question until this point?
Yes, it's me again. One question. According to the presentation about the continuous integration pipeline, in the Jenkins files, you did not put the command themselves, but you did a reference to the SH files that were different folders, one for build, one for unit test and stuff like this. I guess it is optional. The both ways are, of course, acceptable.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The example that I did in the presentation was the worst case, where you have not only one container, you have 10 containers to generate it, so you can do it in parallel. But the simplest case, you can put the command there, and that's it. Instead, to create a folder, a script, call the script from the Jenkins file, so it's a bit more complicated. This is an easy way, you know. So
Okay,
you
okay,
can do
understand. Understand that if there are many commands per script, then maybe the best way is to decentralize, let's say, the commands. But if there are few, it is more easy to have it all together in directly in the Jenkins file.
Yes, yes. That's it.
Okay, okay.
Also, you could put here. You have multiple builds. You got put here all your containers that you have, but it will be one by one. You know, it will go one by one. But I think the most case only have one container to build.
Okay, okay. If I had more than one container, so I guess that only by referring at the build folder, let's say, it would get directly all the build essays, all the build scripts.
Yeah, yeah. You can do it
Okay, okay. Thank
one
you.
approach or the other. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Okay, now the container was generated and tagged with the tag latest, and the container was pushed to the repository. So currently it's available in registries and at nfb.eu. Now it's located in the local registry. So if I do, for instance, docker image, if I delete my local repo, I can pull from the repository that Jenkins pushed this container. So basically, is docker pull. Searching in the registry, and it will pull the container. Let me check if I have connection to this repository from my PC. No. It's a VPN issue.
Philip, is this repository behind a firewall or it's open to public?
Currently, is just internal. This repository. It would be a good idea to open this registry tool, because if we put in the Jenkins file that we will use that exactly, you know, that's a repository and it's not open, the other contributor that want to use your container will not, we couldn't. Okay.
So once we have the VPN set up in local office, so we can access repository, right?
The connections. Okay, let me paste password. Where is the password? Okay, here. Okay, now I am connected. So yeah, I'm pulling the repository from the local Docker registry that we have in Athens. So more or less, this is the steps. So be aware that you need the VPN to pull other repos, not only your for your container, but for the rest of the container that we have. As we mentioned, it would be a good idea to have this Docker repository open to the internet to download, maybe with a user password strategy or something, but it would be great to have it.
Do we have an organization of the Sonata free on the Docker Hub?
You could pull the container from Sonata, but you cannot push. So only Jenkins can push because the login was done in Jenkins. So Jenkins can push the containers to Docker Hub, to the official repository.
I mean, you know the Docker Hub, the public.
Yeah, the public.
So wondering, do we have an account on the public Docker Hub?
Yes, it is. Sonata Docker Hub is this one. So every night the containers will is publishing to Docker Hub. Okay.
Do we have any plan for publish our 5GTANGO?
Yeah. We will use the same strategy. Look, the last container push was 8 hours ago by Jenkins.
That's very good. We can reference in this to
So
public.
Yeah, also the Ansible scripts use SonataNFV / container to pull the containers from Docker Hub for the installation. So you can use the tag dev, that is the latest stable container version, but also you could use the tagged version for the container. Qualification latest we have from the version 0.9 2 years ago. Okay. Yes. What next? So once the pipeline of the build was passed by Jenkins, it will report automatically here in GitHub, and you can merge your pull requests. So please wait until Jenkins finish the job in order to merge it, because if you have an issue in your container build or in container in the pipeline, you will notice here. So if you merge, you will merge the container with an issue there. So it's not good strategy. So you should wait until Jenkins job pass, and then you can merge your pull requests. Okay. So okay, now we are in this step. First iteration, no unit test, no check style, no smoke test. So we have 20 minutes more. I don't know if you prefer that I deploy the container, I add my snippet to deploy the container using the Ansible scripts in pre-integration, or do you prefer that I add the unit and check style checks in the pipeline? What do you prefer?
I would vote for the unit tests, even if we can then later complement with the deployment part.
Okay, let's go for the unit test. So, fine. my pipeline is composed, as you know, with container build and container publication. So in some case, as we took before, you could add the unit test after the container build. That will be a good strategy. In case of to not build, spend time building the containers if you know that have an error there. Or in case of this repository specifically use a specific version of Ruby, and we need to handle the way to do it in Jenkins. So if we run the unit test in Jenkins now, it will not find the Ruby gem, so we need to find a strategy to do it. So to avoid that, I'm going to run the test after the creation of the container. So we'll run it directly inside the container. So let me put here unit test. This stage is for the unit test. Let's unit test. Performing unit test. So the steps will be first. In this stage, I will run the unit test. Let's create. Yeah. So what do I need to run this this unit test? I need the MongoDB already running, and then connect my container to the or link my MongoDB with the container, and run the unit test. Okay, so first I will let me call this start dependencies MongoDB. I'm going to put here in this stage the Docker run. Let's run in detach mode. Let me check how we are doing this in unit test. It's hard to remember all the comments, so yeah. Okay. So basically, it's around there. Is to run it. I'm going to put this to ensure that the MongoDB is stopped. It's a basic verification. Yeah, basically what I'm doing here is checking if a container with the name Mongo is running. If not, I pass. But if it is running, I stop. I remove it. Okay. So by this way, I ensure that no container called Mongo is running in Docker in Jenkins at this point. So then I start my container. Yeah.
This means we have one component running MongoDB with this port, with this name.
Yeah, this test will use a MongoDB, so I need to start MongoDB. But if there is a MongoDB already running, I need to stop it.
So we can also run parallel builds.
Parallel builds.
Yeah, that's something important to think about to improve.
Yeah, we could if we put here and at the end use exception if my job didn't work. So yeah, but it's a step further, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. Let's do it by this way, and then we can optimize the process. Minus name Mongo. So let's use this. So I'm going to attach instead to use link, I'm going to attach the MongoDB to a network and then use the name itself. So then it is Mongo and then.
Felipe,
Yes.
what do you mean by attaching it to a network? Is this a default parameter we should put always during the tests?
Yeah, we have two options. We could create a link, minus link, but this option is being deprecated by Docker. We'll show you. You have legacy container links, and you have the warning that the minus link is flag legacy to Docker. So basically, this parameter in Docker inject in the container the host name with an IP address. So it's being deprecated. So the other way is to use the network like this. 1 second. Let me find the other page.
But where is defined the Tango network?
It's already there. It's here. If we go to if we go to Jenkins, so we can list the her network. So we have a Tango network already there, okay, for test. So let's use this network to do our tests.
Okay, I understand that all the executable containers are supposed to run on the same network.
Yeah. So that's a way to communicate between each other.
Okay.
So in the networking setting, we have the option to add a network alias. That is a name that we will present in the internal DNS, Docker DNS. So that's a way now how Docker resolve the names of the containers. So it have an internal DNS, and when you use the option network alias, it will add an entry, a record in the DNS, internal DNS for your container.
At the presentation, at the network alias, I saw that you put the name of the container under development, in this case, tng-rep, and in the net you put the son SP. I understand that this should be Tango, not son SP.
Yeah. I have changed this because we will need to. We could use this for both for VMV and the service platform. In case we deploy everything together, it's not compatible to have two different networks. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we will use only Tango, and if we deploy the service platform together with a VMB, it will work in the internal network of Tango.
Okay.
Yeah, I have changed the CICD wiki page with these updates, but yeah, I need to, yeah.
No, it's okay. I just noticed it, and I will also look the wiki page, so don't worry. It is very clear for me now.
Okay, so let's back to the net Tango, net wireless Mongo. Okay, perfect. So at this point, we have started the Mongo. We could add a wait. Yeah. Let's add the -p. I don't remember what support. So let's check if yeah. Okay, I will simplify this step. Okay, here. So I will add an sleep for 10 seconds to wait until Mongo start. Okay. So once the MongoDB is up, I will start my unit test. So I need to add here the networking. And the networking is net. Let me check 1 second. Minus net. Yeah, I will check. Integration. Minus. Minus net Tango work alias. And this is tng-rep. So I'm going to delete this Mongo from here. Yeah, perfect. So after this, we will run my unit tests. I'm going to add a stage. After this, to delete Mongo. Good. This is a stage that will be executed with a error, because if it failed here, it will not run this command. So we need to improve this with error handling. Yeah, it's with a try and catch and so on, but it's a bit complicated to put this working now. Okay, we can do it later, and I can put examples how to do it. Okay, so now we have our unit tests. Let's check this Jenkins file in our pipeline, in our Jenkins pipeline application plugin. So the unit test will run in. Yeah, this will run in parallel. I have to check this because it will run in parallel. I don't want that. What happens if I delete parallel? Open. Yeah, let's check. Yeah. No. What is step? Yeah, I will need to create a stage where. Okay. Oops, sorry. How can I do that? Let's put this. Okay, well, everything in one. Okay. Let's see if this works and then improve it. Okay, we have unit test, unit test. Fine. Okay. Okay, this will generate some files in this location. So in this location. So I'm going to add.
Just to go here, I have to go, but I will watch your presentation later.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for the presentation.
Yeah. You too. file. This is a test result report. Yeah, let me copy. I have this declare in some place. Yeah, in probably in the gatekeeper here. Publish results.
Sorry, just I see that Anna from Kobe's is inside the call. Anna, do you hear me?
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. We had the call together in order to talk about the
portal, yeah.
Exactly. It was at 3 o'clock. Do you mind if we finish first this one and then we have our synchro, or do you have time problem?
I can reschedule the meeting, no problem.
Okay, so let's talk after the end of this meeting. And if you do not have time, let me know in order to reschedule it.
Okay, no, it's fine, it's fine.
Okay, see you after then. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have added these JUnit results that should be located here in spec reports, and I'm going to grab everything that it will be there. So I think I have there in my PC located here reports. Yeah, so the files will be in this repository. So okay, so checking that I don't need this wildcards. Just go to spec reports and grab everything from here. So notifications, I forgot that we will need this part. Okay, let's go for the simplest way, and then we will add notifications in our cat Jenkins file. Paste again our space again. Yeah, no issue here. Okay, publish results. Yeah, okay, we have the step already created. Fine. Okay, let's do the pull request. Git status. Git add Jenkins file. Git status. Git commit adding unit test to Jenkins file. Perfect. Push master. Okay. So we go to my repo. Next, I do the pull request. Too behind. Why too behind? I need to configure my upstream. Okay, let's do the pull request. I don't know why it's too behind. Okay, adding a unit test. So with this pull request, it will be triggered automatically. The Jenkins Any question at this point? As you can see here, it's very flexible and very different for each repo, the way of working. So it's totally depend of the developer, but based in some rules like the container build, container push, make some tests, and then deploy an integration. So the way that you will achieve that is varied, but the goal will be the same. So the goal is the same, and for the pipeline, well.
Felipe,
Yes.
I understand that for the current JUnit test that you created, you set up a Mongo container and you check if your container, the tng-rep, can communicate smoothly with the Mongo. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. In our case, in the case of the policy manager container, let's say, we need to check out, to make a test to see if this container can communicate smoothly with the monitoring container. That is something that exists in the Tango ecosystem. So my question is, I can see that you have published a list of containers, names and ports. I can mostly see there containers related with some gatekeepers features. I also added the TNG policy manager if someone wants to interact with us at the internal and external port of 8081. So my answer is the following. Which one of them is the monitoring container, if it is there, and how we are going to communicate with this one, because if we follow the same process that you have followed, I understand that if exists one container running, we have to kill it, which is dangerous, in order then to run it up again, communicate with it, and then kill it again. So how is that process in this case?
Yes. Yes. The test is the integration test. So I'm using here. I'm trying to do here the unit test. So for the unit test, you don't need the second application running. I am using now the Mongo because to not let's say mock all the calls to the Mongo. But if you need to use another component, so you can mock it in your unit test to run your unit test. But in case of integration test, that it will be a step further. The integration test, you will have an environment where we have all the containers running, and when you deploy your container, that's only your container that will be deployed there, living around, with the rest of container started. So in that case, you can make calls to your container and see if it works with not only monitoring, but with all containers that are living in that environment.
Okay, so I understand that the case I described is not a pure unit test. It fits better at the deployment in integration step.
Exactly.
Or it could be a smoke test, maybe.
Exactly. The smoke test will be performed in integration. Well, in the smoke test will perform in a intermediate environment that is a pre-integration. Okay.
After integration.
And this after integration, this environment is only for the first small cycle that we are performing. So when you create a pull request, it will deploy all the containers there and your new container. So if your container failed, you can make a new pull request with a fix and not crash the integration environment. That the integration environment is a place where all the partners can use it to integrate the application that is living in his PC, in her PC, to that environment and use it. If we use integration environment with a very early stage development, we don't know if my component is failing or if it's other component that is failing, you know.
Okay.
So in this intermediate step, you will ensure that your container is running okay, and then it will promote it to integration.
Okay, so in order to be more in line with the integration process that you promote in this case, would be a nice approach to create a container with RabbitMQ, let's say, just to check that my container connects smoothly with whatever RabbitMQ container, and this would be the unit test phase. And then you will explain us how to really make it plug and play at the deployment and in integration phase. This could be a nice approach, or maybe I can skip checking the connection with RabbitMQ and see it directly in the integration phase. I don't know. What do you?
Yeah, if you need to test two components through RabbitMQ, it will be an integration.
Okay, so maybe I leave the unit test some. I'm going to check, let's say, other functionalities such as code consistency and stuff like this, and maybe leaving this kind of test in the deployment phase.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's see if escaping the. Yeah, this will be triggered automatically as we saw before. Yeah, the job is there. Okay, let's click here in the logs. Okay, yard is taking some time. Maybe we should skip yard or create it in another container to route. Okay. This is used for the documentation, automatic documentation of the code. So do you use it, Jose, in Gatekeeper? A jar?
No, at least not yet. This was something that Danny from i2cat started using.
Okay. Docker inspect. Okay. Yeah, let me go back to the. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this should be okay. Training space. Okay, we'll delete it. Mm-hmm. This one.
Felipe, let me ask you something. This is Marius.
Hey, Marius. Tell me.
So this is maybe a general question. Are there any specific unit tests that we have to keep in mind for make to our piece of code, or every time depends on what we are working on?
Every time depends on the.
So there is nothing specific for let's say like a schema for our project for 5GTANGO.
Yeah, maybe Jose can say some specific things.
No, well, you can look into another repository of the 5G or Sonata repositories and look for examples of unit tests. The idea of the unit test is just to test the smallest part possible. Okay, so you don't access the database, you don't access anything on the network, you don't access any file. You have to mock, like Felipe has described, everything around the unit you are testing. You know, it's not always easy. The trend here is you should make classes and methods the simplest possible. Only then you can mock everything around. And otherwise, if classes and I can show some written by myself. It's not easy to write simple testable classes and methods, but it's something that you just learn by doing. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
But it's very specific to the things that you are developing.
All right. Yes, like now with the example we are working on, if I have two components that communicate each other between them, we have a unit test for check their connection for sure. This is one unit test. Am I right?
I wouldn't put it in a unit test. The unit test is within the component. Okay.
All right.
So if you have a component that says generate random numbers and another one that needs the first one but uses it to generate, I don't know, other random stuff, you test one component, you test the other, and then you test integration.
All right. Okay. Now I got it.
And remember, you don't need to test things like MongoDB, RabbitMQ, and stuff like that. Of course, there are huge communities already testing them. So when you do a component that uses RabbitMQ, you just test the component and then test the integration with the RabbitMQ. Okay.
All right.
The same with databases and web servers and stuff like that.
Yes, the best practice is to mock everything. So try to not use these kind of shortcuts because we have issues around it. But if you don't have enough to create it, well, you can put it, deal with a deployment and so on, and then you can run all the tests there. But if you try to mock it, it will be better than use this strategy. So also, Jose, you have some components in Gatekeeper that have this mocket, but others not. So we should try to move all the component that doesn't have the mock for Mongo, for Postgres, and so on to create them that mocks.
Yes, I know. It's in my long list of things to do.
Yeah, I know this is time consuming, but it's have this maybe. Also, we could run parallel jobs, as Google said, avoid failures, but okay. Currently, it is running the. It is running the tests. So okay, it passed the test. And the commit is to see. Let's see if we have information published. You can see that. Request, test results, no failures. So you can see here the list of results and duration of each one of the unit tests. So if you go here, it is nice to see what's happening. So for instance, I have, well, I can show you how failed one unit test, because one was not working well, and I can show you how it's. Yeah, let me comment this. This is the kind of unit test. So for instance, this get VNF instance without UID given. Try to do a get here and spec 200. I don't know why this was not working this morning, so I have comment out. And now let me make a push to show you how you can see that it's failing. Pushing. Failure in the pipeline. So basically, you will run again the test. It is running now. Yeah. Okay. I think after this we can close the call. Get clean.
Okay. So what is the? Okay, it got an error there.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's really late, and I think people need to have a break. So what is the status now? I suggest that people review the presentation. I don't know if it's going to be available, but Felipe will for sure take care of that. And maybe, Felipe, you should compose an email or something with the missing parts, the still missing parts, or some wiki page or something like that. What do you think?
Yeah, or maybe we could organize another session.
Or if you think it's better, yes, another session with the remaining parts.
Yeah, because the deployment in integration, pre-integration, environments, and so on.
But I think that first we should have people's feedback. I mean, when they start using this part that you have already shown, and they will face doubts and difficulties, and they will contact us. And later on, when someone needs to go into the deployment phase, we will organize a second workshop like this. What do you think?
Okay, it sounds good. Yeah, maybe we can reach until this part and then other workshops to go for.
Like this is too abstract. If we go down now into the deployment part, maybe people are not sensitive enough, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Thank you, Felipe. Excellent work. Not everything worked okay, but it's like that. Programming is like that, right?
Yeah. This is DevOps. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks all.
Thank you.
Please send us the questions, the doubts that for sure you still have in your heads. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Felipe.
Thank you.
It's about the SLAs. We are going to start, I think, we're going to work on this weekend.
Okay.
And we will try to have something ready until Monday.
Perfect.
And if we have any question, maybe I can communicate with you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Okay, thank you very much for the time.
You can contact me by Skype if you have a specific question. You know?
Okay, I'll let you. And thank you very much for your time. It was very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye to all.
Bye.
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 Bye.